Hello, beautiful beings of light. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being. If you found your way to this video, or if this video found you, I don't believe it's an accident, I don't believe it's random, and I don't believe it's a coincidence. So I believe there's something here for you. So, the other day, I got home and I noticed there was a nail in my freaking tire, my car tire, and I could hear it hissing as the air was escaping. And immediately my reaction was, I started to think about how if I didn't have a car, I wouldn't have to deal with this. Or if I had this issue with my bicycle, I could fix the tire myself. Or how if I had driven a different way home, I wouldn't have experienced this problem. And I realized how funny it is that we are so conditioned to resist what is and to remove ourselves from what's happening here and now and think and tell ourselves that things would be better if, I would be happier if, I would be more successful if, instead of taking ownership and responsibility and surrendering to the now. So, let me tell you what I did. I took a deep breath. And I considered my options. I could, number one, get frustrated and upset and feel the energy drain from my body. Or I could say, so, or good, or oh well, and simply do whatever it was that I needed to do in that moment to keep moving forward. And a few years ago, I was listening to a podcast by Marie Forleo, and she was talking about this simple phrase that has kept her going throughout her life. And it's, everything is figure-outable. What a simple, ingenious thing to say. Everything is figure-outable. Because it always is. And if I can't figure it out, I know that someone out there can figure it out. Have you ever jumped to conclusions? Have you ever jumped to the worst case scenario? Or felt like a situation was hopeless, the end of the world? Have you ever let yourself spiral as a victim, asking, why me? Why now? Well, I think we often have this tendency to catastrophize, don't we? We tell a story. We let our environment control us rather than our internal environment influencing the outside world, the external environment. And this has honestly been one of my biggest limiting factors in my life. Catastrophizing and spiraling and allowing myself to be controlled by what's happening outside myself. But the more I practice acceptance and the more I surrender and trust, the more it reinforces the idea that everything is truly happening for me and not to me. And as soon as I stopped resisting this incident, the now, what was happening, I found a sense of peace and relaxation. And I stopped thinking about what could have been different. And I stopped blaming, and I stopped allowing myself to be a victim. And I realized that I get to choose how I feel in each moment. And I get to choose to rewire my patterns and behaviors, and that the only limit to my experience of this life is me. And this, my friends, feels like true freedom. Watching and learning my patterns and behaviors, and choosing to change those that don't serve me. And I know that with practice and vigilance and intention, I can rewire my neural connections so that I respond differently to situations instead of reacting. Eventually, I know that what I practice, the rewiring that I reinforce will help strengthen those connections, and that I will come up with new automatic responses. And my goal is to respond to every challenge or every problem with optimism and delight. I want to truly trust that what's happening is all happening for my highest good. And that when things don't go according to plan, or when things feel out of my control, that it's an opportunity to learn and to grow. And to start saying, what can I learn from this? What is the universe trying to communicate to me? And I can start responding to these challenges with simple new words like good or so, knowing that eventually some good comes from every single challenge. So, what do you want your response to be when you face a problem or a challenge? And what's something new? What's a new word or phrase you can say to yourself when you feel angry or frustrated or disappointed or hopeless? Can you say good? Can you say everything is figure-outable? I'll find a way through. How can you let these situations keep driving you forward instead of letting them drive you? Well, everything is figure-outable, my friends, and good things come from hard times. My tire is now fixed, and I am back rolling in the world. Thanks for being here. I love you so deeply, but I want you to remember to always love yourself the most.